What up, what up? Thank you for listening to Once Upon a 785, the dopest podcast in the Midwest. Here's your host, Georgee350. Let's get into it.
What up, what up? It's your boy, Georgee350. And thank you for tuning in to Once Upon a 785, available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And if you're listening, I would like to say you fucking rock, and I appreciate the shit out of you. And if you fuck with us and you think we're worth a fuck, go ahead and leave a review or a like on whatever platform you listen on, because it helps the algorithm find more badass motherfuckers like yourself who might enjoy it too. But never feel obligated to leave a review or feel obligated to do anything. Just enjoy the show. What up and welcome to episode number 7, The Adventures of Georgee Boy in the Kratom Chronicles. Today's date at the time of this recording is October 17th, 2022, and the time is none of your business, bitch. And I would like to note, if you notice that the intro was done by the world's most lovely little lady, that's because it was done by my daughter, my oldest. And if you can't tell, she's a natural. She did amazing. She wanted to be on the podcast, and I told her she could do the intro, and she sat down in my little closet booth for like 20-30 minutes and just recorded it over and over and over until she was happy with the result. And now, for your lucky listening pleasure, you got to hear it. And she did great. But today's episode, I'm gonna just kind of freestyle it. I'm just off the dome, tell you about my name, Georgee, how I got it, why 350's relevant and a part to it, and how I discovered Kratom, or rather stumbled upon it, and fell in love with it and decided, fuck it, I'm gonna make it my business. So before we get started, I would like to say I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Fuck Mondays. I hope these episodes can be a brighter part to a shitty Monday. I do try to put an episode out every week, but god damn, it is fucking hard. So every Monday, every other Monday, god damn it, I'll try. And if you want to be on the show, hit me up. It's super easy to have guests on the show. It's literally a phone call. It's so badass. But matter of fact, before we get into this episode, let's go ahead and get this ad out of the way. We'll be right back. Yay! And we're back. All right. So, first part, Georgee350. People always ask me, where the fuck did you get the name Georgee? How is that even relevant to your name? Well, if I'm being honest, it's not. It's not relevant to my name whatsoever. But for you to understand how I got the name Georgee, I need to take you back to my sophomore year of high school. I believe it was Snowball, because we had the Snowball dance, and the year is 2006, okay? We all take a bunch of ecstasy. Some of the best ecstasy, no, the best ecstasy I've ever did in my life, okay? And we go to this Snowball dance. And there was a guy that was with us that, he was like fucking super old compared to us. Like, he could definitely buy booze, has been able to buy booze for quite some time. And so, but somehow he got into the dance, and we are all rolling our nuts off. I remember just dancing with this girl, and I was just petting the back of her hair like, oh my god, this is fucking amazing. And she was like, "Are you drunk?" And I'm like, "Shh. No, no. No, I'm not drunk." But man, it was so awesome. Um, but yeah, anyway, we realized that we were fucked up, so we got to get out of there. So we leave the dance and we go over to the one dude's trailer. And mind you, this is a pretty small trailer, just a little bitty trailer house. And there was like 40 or more motherfucking people just crammed in this house, all rolling their dicks off or vaginas, whatever. We were all fucked up. Everybody in that bitch was fucked up. I mean, having straight heart to hearts and fucking, I love you, man. I love you too. Like, I just want the best for you, bro. You're a good person. Everything was so inspiring. Everything was so amazing. I mean, it was a great ass experience. I remember we were all vibing out singing, "Ain't no mountain high enough." You know, I remember that was one of the songs. Sean Paul, "We be burning, not concerning what nobody wanna say." I remember we were singing that song. We were just all drinking. Some people were drinking. I'm pretty sure I was drinking a little bit and just chain smoking cigarettes, one after another, just fucked up. But before all this, we pull up to the trailer house, and as we're walking in, the dude who owned the trailer was asking us our names, and I'm just a punk 16-year-old kid. I had like long, straight ass blonde hair. It wasn't even long, it was just mediocre, medium, not even to my shoulders or none of that, but it was just straight blonde hair. And I remember he asked me my name, and as I was shaking his hand, I tell him my name, and he's like, "Georgie?" And I was like, "No." And I tell him my name again, and he's like, "Georgie?" And I was like, "No, it's definitely." And he was like, "I don't care. I'm going to call you Georgie." I was like, "Okay." And he said that his reasoning for that was because I looked like Johnny Depp in the movie Blow, and he played George Young. And he was like, "I'm just going to call you Georgie Boy." And I was like, "You know what? Fuck it. I'll take that. Hell yeah." And so from then on, I would introduce my name as Georgie. And anymore, it's probably not a bad idea to not give out your real name to the whole world. I had girlfriends that called me George. I have people that they didn't even know George or Georgie wasn't my real name. And that's how I'd rather it be. I just had a friend tell me the other day that people are like, "What'd you say your name was?" And he'll be like, "Well, matter of fact, what do you think I look like? What name do you think I look like? Do I look like a George? Do I look like a Harold? Do I look like a Jeff? Because whatever you think I look like, that's what I am." "Oh, I look like a Jeff? Well then, hello Jeff. You look like a fucking Henry. Nice to meet you." I mean, people, you can find too much stuff out about somebody, anybody, just by their fucking name. So I'd rather make it easier, make it harder, not easier for who knows. It's not like I got shit to hide, really. Or do I? But I just would rather be safe than sorry. That's why I'd be trying to tell my kids and of a bunch of people, like, you should not be putting your real fucking name as your email address or anything like that. I mean, we're it's becoming an era where anonymity is so hard to do because everything wants to know who the fuck you are, where the fuck you're at, blah blah blah. So, yeah, I don't want to get too far off track, but yeah, that's how Georgie became my name. And so, I like it. I think it's an awesome nickname, you know. And that's Georgee, George with an extra E, if you will. That's just been my nickname. And then 350, if you remember last episode, Above the Bodega, well, when we lived at the bodega, we didn't have a little, peephole, like to see who was outside, or we didn't have no windows we could look out. It was just a big ass wall, and the door was in the middle. And so people would come and they'd knock, and we'd be like, what do you just say? Just like, who is it? Or do you just chance it and open the door, Well, we decided one day that, we were going to have a passcode. Fuck a secret knock. People knock on the door. Boom, boom, boom. And we'd be like, what time is it? And you had to know what time it was to get inside. No, it's not the real time. We had one guy who, RIP, he literally passed yesterday. I remember he came over one time and he knocked on the door, and we were all fucked up, but he was fucked up too, and we were like, what time is it? And he was like, what time is it? I don't know, you fucking stoners. Let me fucking inside. It's fucking 4:20. Which, that was acceptable. We let him in. But pretty much everybody, if you came over to our house, you knew that when we asked you what time it was, the time was always 3:50. But we wouldn't say it like that, no. I don't know if you've seen the South Park episode where he's like, that goddamn Loch Ness Monster don't know me about 3:50. 3:50. That was our password. People knock on the door, and we'd know exactly who it was just by the way they said it. So we'd be like, what time is it? And they'd be like, 3:50. We'd be like, oh, shit. They know what time it is. Come on inside. There was one time when we asked what time it was, and they said, Hayes Police Department, and I knew right then and there, fuck. They definitely don't know what time it is. And they're not down with what's going on inside this house, so, it's just, I don't know, our thing, so I always have been fond of 350, those three numbers. I don't know, so I just, Georgee350, that's how, that's how that all came to be. And I've had a bunch of nicknames, and, I've thought about, I don't know, not necessarily changing it, but I don't think I could do it. Georgee350, and that's here to stay. And trying to think of anything that could be more relevant to my name and how it came about, but I think that's about it. So, with that all being said, fuck it. Let's get on to the next subject. The Kratom Chronicles. Alright, the Kratom Chronicles. But, before we get into the Kratom Chronicles, just in case you don't know what Kratom is, I got a little ad for you. Hello, this is Jordan with Midwest Speciosa LLC. For me, Kratom is not just a choice, it's a lifestyle. But you may be asking yourself, what is Kratom, Jordan? Well, I'm glad you asked. Kratom is a safe herbal supplement used by millions of Americans to manage pain or as an alternative to coffee to help with their mood and focus. Natural kratom comes from a tropical tree in the coffee family native to Southeast Asia and has been used for centuries in traditional medicines. Kratom has been safely used for decades here in the United States and is becoming increasingly popular because of what it is and what it isn't. Kratom is not a drug, not an opiate, and not a synthetic substance. Natural kratom is a safe herbal supplement that is used by millions for pain management or an energy boost. Despite coming under attack because it's not a prescription drug, Many Americans are turning to Kratom to help them eliminate chronic pain, a drug dependency, or as an energy boost. They say Kratom gives them relief from constant pain, and many, myself included, say it saved their lives. That's why more and more Americans are benefiting from it daily. See if Kratom could help you or someone you know. Here at Midwest Speciosa LLC, we offer free samples for all new customers, whether it's the first or the millionth time you've tried Kratom. The first ounce is always free. Midwest Speciosa LLC. Plants over prescriptions. Disclaimer. This product has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Keep out of reach of children. Therefore, any information presented is solely as the opinions of Midwest Speciosa, which do not claim in any way, shape, or form to be medical professionals providing medical advice. Midwest Speciosa LLC cannot be held responsible for and will not be liable for the inaccuracy or application of any information whatsoever herein provided. The U.S. FDA has not approved Kratom as a dietary supplement. You should consult your physician when taking any medication along with Kratom. Pregnant and nursing women as well as anyone under the age of 21 should not use Kratom. All information presented here is not a substitute for or an alternative to information from healthcare practitioners. Please consult your healthcare professionals about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product. Alright, and we're back. Hopefully that refreshed your memory on what Kratom is and what Kratom is not. So, Kratom Chronicles. Some people wonder how I found out about Kratom because I'm the guy that introduces them to Kratom, and they'd never heard of it before, had no clue. It's like the whole world is living under a rock, especially out here in Kansas. You know, nobody knows or did know what Kratom was. There's still a lot of people that don't know what it is, because I literally had someone today that had never heard of Kratom. They got their free sample, and you know, I feel like I'm doing a good thing. Kratom helped me in so many ways. But before we get into that, for you to understand how I came about Kratom, we're going to have to journey back to February 2015. I was in a place called Valley Hope in the middle of nowhere fucking Kansas. And Valley Hope is a rehab. And mind you, rehab was, I think I've already said this before, rehab was one of the best fucking times of my life. It was like a blast. I mean, it's pretty much like a junkie Holiday Inn, you know. Everybody there was super cool. I still got people that I talk to this day. Shout out to my Nebraska people, which I think is only a few people now. Man, if you listen, this motherfucker, your name rhymes with rolling, stolen. You know who I'm talking about. Miss you, bro. Badass motherfucker. Computer whiz fucking genius. Straight genius. Also, I never heard such crazy stories until I met these motherfuckers from Nebraska. But yeah, that's a whole nother story. We could probably do a whole episode on rehab, and why, if you haven't went, you probably should, because there's times now where I'm not even addicted to drugs, and I just think it'd be so fucking awesome just to take a break, go to rehab, just, get the fuck away. It's like a vacation, but it's not. I don't know. I enjoyed it. But, nevertheless. So, February 2015, I'm in rehab for prescription opiates was my drug of choice. I loved pain pills. I loved the way they taste. I loved the way they smelled, more importantly. They smelled amazing. That was my shit. If I didn't have pills, you could bet your ass I wasn't going to work that day. I mean, I would search all day, all night, just so I could have enough pills that if I could make it to work, I could keep looking for pills while I was at work instead of laying in bed at home fucking feeling like dick. And yeah, pain pills, they they were on the route to they were ruining my life. They, all drugs are bad. You can get addicted to anything, mind you. There's people that go to rehab for gambling, for sex, for masturbation. Shit, I said it before. You can get addicted to jerking off. You can get addicted to touching yourself. You can get addicted to looking at fucking weirdo porn. People are hooked on everything nowadays. Social media addiction is a real thing. You don't believe me? Fucking Google it. And if you don't want to Google it and you want to get the right answer, go to DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo, they don't hide shit. They don't have no specific algorithm that they have to follow like Google. You go to an anonymity browser and one like DuckDuckGo or Brave browser. Brave browser actually gives you cryptocurrency if you read the ads. You can make money but getting sidetracked, getting sidetracked. Also, I'm not getting you know, any ad payments for shouting out DuckDuckGo or Brave, but if I do, that'd be dope because I totally fuck with you. But yeah, you can get addicted to anything. I mean, eating disorders, not eating disorders, it doesn't matter. But anyway, getting off the trail. Got to get back on track. Kratom. So I'm in rehab, whatever. I go the whole time in rehab, never heard anything about Kratom still, I'm just doing it sober, And side note, I don't consider taking Kratom as not being sober. I don't get high off of Kratom. I'll put it that way. But I decided while I was in rehab that I wanted to go to a halfway house. And that halfway house was in Salina, Kansas. And that was one of the craziest, most insane experiences of my life. Not to get off track or nothing, but this halfway houses in general, especially in bigger towns and bigger cities, it's a place where people from rehab go to get, away from their surroundings. It's where people fresh out of prison get paroled to, So there's a bunch of drug addicts and there's a bunch of people that just got back from prison that, it does do a lot of things that is helpful, I mean, we had to sign out, wherever we went. If we stayed a weekend somewhere, we got drug tested when we got back. They help you get a job. You got to pay rent. You have chores, you have responsibilities. It's not just a free for all, but it also is a free for all. I never seen anybody shoot up any drugs until I lived in the halfway house. And I mean, one day I had guy in the passenger seat, guy in the back seat, both of them shooting up pills. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, I thought this halfway house is where we got sober, You shouldn't relapse in the halfway house. That's fucked up, but it happens, People go there not like me on their own free will. People go there because they have to. They don't want to be there. And they don't want to stop getting fucked up either. You know, it was a wild, wild experience, to say the least. But had I never went there, you guessed it, I never would have ever found out about Kratom. But so I'm living in the halfway house, you know, just doing my thing. Uh, got a job, and month goes by. I still haven't found out about Kratom or nothing. I think it was my second month into it, maybe third. No, second month. And they had a little smoke shop in Salina. Still there today. They still sell Kratom, Pack Rat, much love. That's who. That's the first place I tried Kratom, and I bought some extract. It was 1 gram, 2 half-gram capsules, and I think it was 30x. So they took 30 grams and turned it into 1 gram, and so each pill was like taking a 15 gram. I don't know how I feel about the extracts, but I can tell you that day I took the one and I felt amazing. It was bliss. Like, I ended up taking both of them and it was awesome. I was like totally amazed and I could not believe how I had not heard of this. And crazy thing is, I actually had heard of Kratom before then. We go back all the way to 2012. I'm living in Colby in a trailer park, Felony Acres. Not a good place to be living. But I had a roommate, and the people next door, I'm pretty sure they sold weed and Kratom. And they gave him some Kratom one day, my roommate, and he was telling me about it, and he gave us, I don't know how much, he gave us some, but, I didn't know anything about it, and did zero research, and, you know, being in the drug world, you do a whole gram of anything, and it's usually probably not a good idea, you know? So we were doing points of this shit, like just 0.1 of a gram, We didn't know what the fuck to do. We didn't want to die either. And so ended up, 1 gram's not going to do dick to 3 people. And that day I remember I chalked it up as, whatever the fuck this is, fuck that. I do real drugs. But man, if I could go back and tell myself, bro, you're doing it all wrong, who knows what my life would be like. And who knows how many people I would have been able to tell about Kratom had I found out about it, 3 years prior. But either way, it found its way back into my life. And so I'm in the halfway house and I'm buying Kratom from the smoke shop. I buy it in the capsules because I'm a noob. I didn't even tried. I didn't even know anything about the powder yet. And so, yeah, that was the beginning. It was amazing. I can tell you that, man, I'm so glad that I did go to that halfway house, because if I hadn't, I don't know where the fuck I would have been. And fun fact, I also knew that if I did go to rehab and then go back to the same place I came from, I was bound to fail. You gotta get away from shit, because I can tell you that I still got people back where I came from doing the same thing we was doing back in the day, and nah, I'm good. Fuck that. But back to the halfway house. So I'm in this one house. It was like the first house I was in, and ended up I had to go to a different house because the guy who owned everything was moving in that house. And so I wanted to go to this one house because I was really good friends with this guy, and he went to the one house, and so I was like, yo, I want to go there. But I had another friend who ended up I was in rehab with him, and he ended up going to jail for a little bit after rehab, and then he came to Salina, and he was staying in one of the other houses, and so this guy had like four different halfway houses, I think, at the time. I'm pretty sure he has a shitload more now, and he has like three-quarter houses and fucking graduate houses. He's making buku bucks off it, and but that's another story too. Um, he's a good guy, good guy. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, good guy. Um, but my friend, he was staying in another house, and in this house, so every house has a house dad, and they're like the dude who runs the house. Like it's like they're like the manager of the halfway house. You got to talk to them about everything. But this house dad, he didn't give a fuck if you ordered kratom, and we the first place I ever got kratom from was who these people in the halfway house were getting it from. And the website's still up today. He's still selling kratom. Kratomforcheap.com. Um, Good dude, great dude. I just I couldn't afford to pay his prices anymore. And I think he still has the same prices, maybe a little cheaper, but you know, he's doing his thing. And that was the first place that I ever bought kilos. Well, actually, I guess they don't sell kilos, they only sold pounds. So I used to buy just pounds of kratom for $130, which now is insane to me. I can't imagine paying that much. That's honestly fucking ridiculous. Because, I mean, toot my own horn, but I'll sell a whole kilo for less than that. And I think my shit is just as good of kratom. You know, I know good kratom. I love it. But keep getting sidetracked. Well, I guess if it's about kratom, I don't know if you could say it's sidetracked. But so I'm in the halfway house, and I actually hadn't bought any kratom from this guy, Kratom for Cheap. I had just tried it, but because that was the first place that I did a spoonful of straight powder, boom, to the face. Just no measuring, no nothing, just ate a spoonful. It was fucking horrible. But the effects were phenomenal. So, I was down. But I didn't live in that house, so I couldn't order any kratom from this guy. But long story short, I dipped out of the halfway house in the middle of the night. I went to see some girl in Wichita, and she had a birthday party, and kind of had a thing for her. Nah, that's a lie. I did have a thing for her. And I ended up dipping out in the middle of the night and moving to Wichita and moved in with her. And so I'm in Wichita. If you don't know Wichita, I mean, they have hella stores. They had stores that just straight up sold kratom. That's all they did. And so even then in Wichita, that was the first place that I ordered kratom from the guy, Kratom for Cheap. But I had so many stores that if I needed to, I just would go get it there. I mean, I was donating plasma just so I could buy kratom, you know? And I worked at a place in Heston, Kansas, Excel Industries, making Hustler, Big Dog lawnmowers, zero turn. It was a dope ass job, you know? Met so many fucking cool people. But I introduced so many people. Nobody in that building had heard of kratom. And I was, getting 60 grams of powder for like $30, and I was selling dollar scoops, and these scoops were just a gram. So I was selling $1 a scoop, and people loved it. People were totally buying it, and I even told them, you can get this at the store, and they would still just buy the scoops from me for $1. So, but either way, there were so many people that work there. None of them heard of Kratom. I turned them on, and I feel like I'm doing most a favor because I mean I didn't want to go back to doing pills, and you know Kratom's helped me not even want to ever think about going back to doing pills. And so I'm in Wichita working there, and then I move. I'm getting ready to have my second child, and I'm with baby mom number two. And so we move. I quit my job. We move to fucking Oberlin, Kansas, middle of fucking nowhere. And so I can cut through this shit hella easy because this is about 2016. And in 2016, the DEA made Kratom a Schedule 1 drug, same category as heroin, meth, you know. It was like that for a whole week. And so I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? But then after a week, they lifted the ban. Thank God. They realized that that was a dumb fucking idea. And at this time, I couldn't afford to get it from the one dude, so I found a place, superspeciosa.com. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't recommend their product. But at the time, it was a good deal. It worked for me. They are good customer service. They'd send me trash Kratom, and I would tell them it was trash, and they'd send me another kilo on the house. So that's dope. But I just try to not send out trash kilos in the first place. But so I'm getting it from them, and yeah, I'm working at this feedlot there. None of them are even worth, trying to explain Kratom to. None of them were quote unquote cool like that. And then I get a job in Nebraska at a welding shop. And I'm going to tell you right now, pretty much every welding shop I've ever worked at has had some badass, cool motherfucking people, And this place did not. Nebraska, McCook, Nebraska, there was not. It was all a bunch of squares. And then there's me. But mind you, number two, baby mama, she made me take out all my earrings and my gauges. I think the only thing I had was my nips and my tongue. I said, no, I ain't taking them out. And then, spoiler alert, I let her convince me to quit eating Kratom. Kratom and vaping. And if you know me, and you know me now, you know I love vaping. I got my vape. I actually just got a brand new vape. Check it out. I love it. But yeah, the year 2017 sucked asshole. No kratom, no vaping, so I can skip all the way through that shit. And now the year is 2018. I said fuck Nebraska, and I moved back home. And number two and me were no longer a thing. Dodged a bullet. I moved back home. The first thing I did when I got back home, I'm single. I make my own rules. I fucking put my earrings back in, stretch them bitches back out, and I ordered me a kilo of fucking Kratom, instantly. And I was back at it. I had always had a dream to open up a Kratom store in Hayes. I was like, I guarantee there's people that would love this shit. And, I could easily make a killing. But number two wasn't feeling it. She was not down with the idea. And so I'm just eating Kratom. Fast forward ahead, I get a job at this place in Waukene. Bunch of cool motherfuckers. I still got hella people there that I sell Kratom to. I think I got everybody in that shop to try Kratom. And, they loved it. Most of them still do it, you know. And but fast forward even longer, as I'm working there, I'm I'm with baby mama number 3. Okay, I even told her about the whole I wanted to sell kratom thing. Wasn't feeling it, you know. I had so many people that they they weren't supportive. My parents even kind of freaked out, you know. They were like, "What? You want to sell what? Like, what are you talking about?" Mind you, I hadn't told them at all about kratom, you know. I was just doing it, and you know, shout out to my parents. They supported me. You know, they've they totally support the vision now. You know, I'd like to say they're proud of me for doing it, because I mean, god damn it, I'm proud of myself. I mean, I had people saying no one's gonna buy your fucking stupid kratom. Like, no one knows what the fuck it is. Well, guess fucking what, bitch? Bam! I made it. I'm making it. I'm doing what I want to do, god damn it. Just like everyone else should. So, either way, 2019, I started my business. And it wasn't a legitimate business. I just started saying my name was Midwest Speciosa, and I made a hoodie that said "Buy my kratom," and that's how the first 3 years ago is just, you know, sole proprietor in it, you know, just doing it as a hustle. And you know, now year's 2022, and I'm a LLC, charging sales tax, paying sales tax. You know, I got a website in the making. You know, things good, life's good. And you know, so that's how I found kratom, and why I love it so much, and how I made it my motherfucking business. Which, once again, if you ain't never tried kratom, you totally should, and you totally can for free. All you gotta do is holla at your boy, Georgee350, and I will send you kratom for free. You know, tell you everything you need to know. I mean, that's my thing. It's what I'm about. And so, I mean, I think that pretty much concludes, you know, the Kratom Chronicles for the most part, you know, how I found it and whatnot. So I think I'm going to go into a little closing, and then I'm going to get about this bitch. All right. I would like to say I apologize for having the sniffles, if you will. I literally tried to go through and cut every single one of them out, but it's like 32 degrees out right now. It's fucking freezing. And it was literally super hot this weekend. So if your nose isn't this way, then fuck you. I don't know what to tell you. This is the closing talk of the episode. And I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with it yet. But I would like to say, because I forgot to mention it earlier, I hit a fucking deer last week in my fucking car. Bitch ass baby Bambi. I didn't even fucking smoke it good enough, because I'm pretty sure it survived, and it just fucked up my car enough that I'm probably gonna have to pay more on the deductible than the insurance company will have to pay. So, joke's on me. But fuck that deer. And it literally did shit, barely anything to my car damage wise. And people probably wouldn't even believe me that I hit a deer if I didn't have it on my dash cam, because people were like, "You didn't hit a deer," and then I have to be like, "You see down here, right here, this plastic shit and this little, yeah, that's where I fucking hit the deer." But I also should probably try to clean up my language. I found out my mama's been listening to my podcast, so Shout out to my mom. She actually has listened to the podcast before my sister has. So, surprising and sad. But hopefully someday. I can't actually think of anything else I got to add. I did have something, but I cannot fucking remember. So, fuck it. I am your host, Georgee350. Thank you for listening to episode 7, The Adventures of Georgee350 in the Kratom Chronicles. This is the dopest podcast in the Midwest. And, as always, let's hit him with an outro, bitch.
Fuck bitches, get money, stack paper, say not a slang product, gotta be about $1. Don't love a hoe that's blowing, oh, fuck a bitch and never call. Could've used a rubber, but I hit it raw. I'd rather die than ever rap, plead the fifth and that's a fact. Will I ever snitch? Motherfuck that. Smoking fire shit, great pussy, I desire it. One time it, then I buy the bitch.
Yay!